Okay, lucky I was checking that. Because my microphone wasn't on. Okay, we'll start again. Hi there, it's Vanessa Baker, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Waiuku on this lovely bright and sunny Wednesday, and bringing you another little crafty session on our live video once a week. And it's actually been a year since I started these live videos. So it's interesting looking back on who's joining and how many people are watching and things like that. So I'm thinking I'll send out a survey and just get a little bit of feedback on how things are going your end and what you'd like to see and how frequently and things like that, and just see how what I'm actually doing is see if it's helping you, because it's the whole idea is to help you with your crafting. So yeah, I think I'll do a little survey for that. Now I just need to flick something. So on my screen here, okay, I'm actually sort of following a sample from Stampin' Up! Today, so I've just put that on my screen, and I did have a couple of notes. The in colour sale is still ongoing till the end of the month, so that's 15% off selected products that have in colours in them. And I was having a look at the list there today, and it includes some kits. So there's some kits in the kits collection that have in colours, and so those are included in the sale. Also the Painterly Pear DSP, which is the one I'm using in the classes this month, that's also on sale. And the one I'm using today, Floral Charm, that's also 15% off. So lots of really pretty paper there included in that sale, and the kits as well, which I know quite a few people enjoy those. So yeah, have a look. And while you're on the website, check out the last chance list as well, because there's some more deals to be had there with products that are retiring. Okay, so let's flip the camera. Oh, I've just got a message. Bring back my little options here. Okay, good. Okay. Hopefully that's clear. My lighting is a little bit strange. Put that ink pad over there. Hopefully, oh, it doesn't help at all. Okay, I'll just forget about that. Not much I can do about it. Okay, so the idea for today's card was to have another look at one that we did a few weeks ago now. This one was the hidden gatefold. So when you open it, you've got this lovely extra piece of DSP with the pretty flowers, so in the reverse pattern there. So I just thought we would do something a little bit different to this one, but with that same opening on the inside. And it's using the Floral Charm, which is an online set, so you won't find it in any catalogues. And I'm just trying to find all the pieces of the paper. Oh, here it is. So this is probably my favourite one, and the one we're using today is this beautiful peachy orangey with the green and the pink pattern, and then on the reverse is the lovely mossy meadow. And there's also other patterns with timid tiger, and I don't think it's Secret Sea, I think it might be Misty Moonlight, something like that. And that pink one has got that. This is another favourite one, really like that. And some other, and this one's almost like a vintage look to me. That's a really nice one with some pretty peacock on the back of that one. And you've seen those. And then I've got these I haven't used at all yet, with the lovely pinks and purples and the lovely, wonder what colour that is actually. That must be, oh, Night of Navy. There we go, Night of Navy. And this one here as well. That looks like is it like an agapantha or something? And that's Blackberry Bliss. So yeah, more colours for me to explore, because I've just about used all of my all of my pieces of the orangey one. Okay, so getting on to the card. This is taken from a sample that I discovered is from Stampin' Up, but I can't actually find it on their website. But somebody else posted it and said it was from Stampin' Up, and it looks like their kind of photography and sample. Now, they did it with a background of, looks like it came from the gallery paper, this one here. So they've got that. And then a large sort of rectangle die cut with this sort of scene on the front. So I'm doing mine slightly differently by using this paper. So I've got a white card base and I've scored it this way so we can do our feature double gatefold on the inside. And so I'll start off by attaching my pretty paper to the front of the card. Hope your week is off to a good start. I had a lovely class last night in Remuera. So I go up to the city and go to the office where I work on a Tuesday. So then once a month I do a class afterwards. So that was last night. And that was a lot of fun. Okay, now I'm going to stamp on this. Now this has been cut from the dies. Oh, actually, I think I had it with me last night. Hold on one second. Here it is. It's the Textured Notes dies. So this is one where you've got all these different rectangle sizes and they each have a different border. So I've used the 2, 3, what have I used? The second one in to get me this size. And it's perfect here because it leaves me a lovely big sort of border of that lovely paper. No point having it there if we're going to hide it all, is there? So put that, I'm just going to do some stamping on there. So this is quite interesting that this sample from Stampin' Up has lots of die cut bits, as you saw when I first showed the card, but also a bit of stamping in the background. And this is something I sort of forget to do. But it just adds another layer, another element to your design. Okay, so this one, and I'm doing this in grey granite, so it's really just, oh, and I might stamp it off. Did I stamp it off, or did I? No, I think I went full. We'll go full. I'm going to do that sort of on an angle like that. So that's one stamp, and then I've got just a little flower with some leaves from the same set. Oh, I didn't show you the set. I'll do that in a second. I'll just stamp this. So this is just going to give us a little bit of layering. And if they overlapped, that would be covered by the things we're going to add shortly. Okay. Now I'll just find that. Oh, here it is. This is our stamp set. So we've got a large sort of floral with 2 blooms, and then you've got this single one with extra leaves, and then some more leaves, and some great words. And I really like the font on this one as well. Okay. And then the dies, they cut out so you've got an outline one, and then you've got some extra sort of shapes that you can cut out for accents, and this one here, which we're going to use. I've done a separate stem, and then I'm going to attach the flower done out of a different paper. So you can create lots of different things with this set of dies. And there's a really useful leaf in here, which I've used this on a couple of other cards. I think I used it with the autumn leaf one that we did a couple of weeks ago, the artistic leaves. I used some offcuts of die cuts of this one. So getting back to our card, I'm now going to layer my pieces on. Oh, the next thing that they did, which was sneaky, is I was looking at that and going, how did they do that with the leaves? So what they've done is they've cut this out of white, this is from the dies. And then from what I can gather, they've just coloured some of the leaves. So I'm going to do that. And I thought, what a great idea. So I've got, actually I might go for the light. I had the dark olive, but I think it's just a wee bit dark. So I'm going to go with the light olive. And I think that tip is a bit dodgy, but we'll have a go. And it looked to me like they didn't even totally colour, like they left a little bit of white, which is always a nice thing to do. I'm just kind of going in sort of lines rather than colouring solidly. And here I'm just going to go on the edge of that flower, just follow that leaf curve. Oh, I might just do a little bit more on there. And these leaves over here too. And I don't know how much of this we'll actually see once we get everything put together. But it just looked like a really nice way to use the die cut and add some colour. And I'm all for sharing when we find cool ways of doing things. Now, I might just stick with the dark old olive over the top, although I have put, I might layer it. I'll do a layer of this and we'll see how we go. So again, I'm just doing, I'm not doing the greatest job, but we'll see what we get. They really did look like they'd just sort of gone like that. So we'll see what that dries like. Oh, this one's the dodgy tip, I think. Feels like it's just a bit fat instead of the usual fine tip. Colour the stems as well. Okay, so that's looking a little bit sort of yellowy to me. So what I might do is just to blend that a bit, let's go back over again with my light olive. And then I'm going to go in with the dark, the light mossy meadow. And hopefully that will just bring it all together. Those stems. Still finding that old olive is a little bit yellowy. Gosh, we were just saying one of the classes that will be starting to make Christmas cards shortly. I normally start that in September when the mini catalogue comes out. Hard to believe. Okay, so I'm going to go, I think, with the... Yeah, I'm not such a fan of that yellowy look, so I'm going to go over that with the dark olive. Should I try the dark olive? And do those tips. If I was using the pear paper, I wouldn't mind that, but this really is not got any yellowy colours in it. Okay, that's toned them down a bit. Probably lost a little bit of detail. Okay, so when you're doing this, I would recommend not doing the light olive. Keep that one tucked away. Do what I did on the first leaves, which was the dark olive and the light mossy. Okay, so that's kind of what I've ended up with now. Right, so I think I'm going to attach that first. So it's going to overhang the edges slightly. I'll just double check. Okay, so I want these leaves to be kind of up that way, across there, and across there. Okay, so I'm going to put that on. And I'm just going to put the glue sort of on the flowers because I like things not completely stuck looking. And it means I can tuck in my other elements under the leaves once I get to them. So see how when I put this on, we can still see the stamped leaves underneath. And that's sort of what I was aiming for. Now this one here is going to go up towards this corner, and again you'll see that stamped image behind. So I'll put a wee bit of glue. Actually, I might give that a little trim. It's quite long and I don't really want these extra. Oh no, actually they are sort of in there. Okay, we'll leave it on. I really am sort of casing the layout for this as we go because it's pretty cool layout. And I wanted something a bit more on the front. So the last time I made this design that I just showed before, the front was fairly plain. It had two sides of the DSP showing and then just the word lovely. Is it gone? Oh, over here. I have a lovely day. So I wanted to do something a bit more involved on the front for this card, just to show the versatility. Okay, so we're going to come and hide. So I'm hiding that stem under that petal. Something like that. And I've got a die cut. Now this is cut straight from the Mossy Meadow paper. I'm just going to put a few dots of liquid glue on there, and then this one is going to go underneath that leaf. Oh, they've actually got it going under that one too. Not that it has to be exact, but sort of up there like that. And then we've got one that I've cut from the DSP, so that's got that pretty pattern on the back with this sort of browns and pinks, which look really nice together, don't they? So this one is going to go over the bottom flower head. And you could do this on dimensionals, but I think I'm just going to put my sentiment on dimensionals for this one. I know, so unlike me. What is wrong? And I'm going to actually twist my flower so that, oh no, I'll do that. Just want to see a bit more of it, of the interesting parts. Okay, we'll just pop it there. Okay, and then I've actually already gone ahead. So when choosing the colour to do for my words, I went to the pack and chose another one of the colours from the pack. So I did look at doing, here we are, I looked at doing grey granite, which is the colour that we stamped the images in initially, but I just felt that it didn't quite pop. So even with that, you know, if it was placed on there, it just looked a little bit dull. So I thought, okay, well, what else is in the paper? And even though it's not in this piece, the beautiful, pretty peacock just gives it a bit of life to the using that colour. So that's what I'm going to go for. And I'm going to put this layer on dimensionals. And I've got a piece of linen thread that I've tied into a bow. And that is going to go kind of on an angle here. So I'll just get a glue dot. Now, organise your bow. So it's going to sit right. You want one leg sticking up the top and one at the bottom. We want them both going the same way. And the glue dot just helps to keep everything in the right direction. Now it's going to go roughly there, I think. Just before I press it down, I'll just double check. Yes, that's going to work. I'll press that down, and I might just stick that layer on next and give my little legs a trim. Okay, so dimensionals. I'm using up edge pieces here. Oh, I've got 2 whole ones. Start with those. Yes, I'm really interested to know if you download the tutorial that I send out. That was one of the reasons I changed the way it's delivered so that I can actually see how many people are downloading it, because for the rest of the year I really have no idea. Because it does take me, you know, a bit of time to prepare those, so there's a bit of a commitment. And if they're just not, I know everybody's busy, so if it's not something that you need, then I can save myself a bit of time, and I could use that time for other pretty projects. Okay, so now I'm going to put dimensionals under my happy birthday. Should be enough. So I stamped that in the same colour as the paper, so pretty peacock. I really like that tone on tone, and you often think, oh, you won't see it if it's the same colour, but it's amazing how you do. It does stamp darker than the paper. I'm going to line that up with the edge of the die cut piece, so everything's contained in there. Lovely, happy about that. Okay, now I'm moving on to the inside. I've got the same shape die cut, and that's going to go here, and that's your space to write on. And I decided, after much deliberating that I'm going to have this paper as when you open it, that's what you'll see. So you have to decide if you're going to have that or if you're going to have the green. And I just thought this is just so pretty that I want that to be what you see when you open it. And then it's the same as what you see on the front. So, and then the green will be there when your recipient is reading your message. Okay, so this is going to go flat. And we'll just find the middle. And I've got my die cut. So I did this in two parts. So I did the green part, and I just, when I lay that on the green, so this is DSP. When I laid that on there, I just didn't do the flower head. It was the edge of the paper. And then I've got to decide now, am I going to use the pink one? I think looks amazing. So you've got to think that's our paper, and then that's what we see when we open the card. Or do we do the orange? Decisions. I do like the orange. I've got orange on the front. I've actually got both colours on the front. But I'm sort of drawn to that pink, I think. I think the pink with the green looks really, really, really cool. So now I'm going to try and figure out, so that's actually the stem of the flower. So I'm going to cut, just with my scissors, cut away that stem part. Actually, I wonder if those bits are probably leaves, aren't they, at the top there? But I quite like that, how that sort of comes down under. So I think I'm going to do it like that. Whether that's anatomically correct or not, I don't know. So a little bit of glue. Oops, I don't need it there. I just want it. So it's a good idea to leave a bit of this green here so that you can attach your flower to that. If you cut it off completely, then you've got nothing to stick it to. You'd have to stick them both just straight onto the paper, which is another option. Okay, now I've got a bit of glue there. Just get that off. And I do find when sticking something like this, it's a good idea just to leave it for a minute or two, you know, just to set before you handle it too much and put the next stage. So I'll just let that sit for a few seconds. Now I'm going to put a bit of glue. And I want this sort of coming, so you've just got to be mindful of that fold. You don't want your leaves to get all crushed in there. So I'm going to go off the page at the bottom, off the page there, but I've minded the fold and just stick it in. Oh, I just need a sip of tea here. Feel my throat getting dry. Okay, so that's the inside all ready, and we'll just fold that up so that we can put it inside the card. So this is cut so that that part is the same size as a normal card inner. So you've got a little bit of gap all the way around. And I'm just going to put my glue on the back of here. And by using this glue, I've got a little bit of wiggle room just to get it straight. And it's also a good idea too, because I have folded those back and forth a couple of times, deciding between the colours. So we'll just give that another crease, because the idea is that you're you just got to watch that when you're closing the card, that these bits here aren't sticking up. Otherwise, you'll get a fold in that part. And finally, we're just going to add some embellishments. So I've got the In Colour flat pearls. Now these are in the In Colour sale. Really cute, shiny, 3 different sizes. I haven't actually opened this packet yet. So I was debating about using one of those, or I do really like these gold flat, what are they called? Low profile dots in gold. And I just thought those are pretty special too. So if I was to use these, which colour? So that's like a secret C, which kind of works. Kind of, but not quite, I think, with the peacock. That's Cloud Cover, which we haven't got anything of. That's Timid Tiger, so that's in the paper. That is this orange. So we could use the orange. And the other colours aren't really in that suite. But I think I'm going to go with my first on. This is Petal Pink is the other colour with the gold. And that would actually kind of work as well. It's sort of the lighter colour on that Timid Tiger. Sort of, but not quite. I don't know if you can see what I can see. It's probably easier with being right here with it. But I think I'm going to go with the gold, which was my first initial thought. Okay. I like to hold the embellishments, the plastic in my hand, and then I can just slide the little, take your pick tool underneath the adhesive and get it on the end. Okay, so we want, I think, one maybe down here, and then two up this way. So if we went, we could go there. Oh, I don't know what my fingers are doing today. Not cooperating. Did I stick that on? That is terribly crooked. Oh my goodness. Vanessa, what are you doing? I've had a conniption there, haven't I? I do have some floss here. Have you heard of this technique? So I've gone and stuck my dimensionals not very straight. So you get your dental floss. I wasn't planning on showing you this, but I've gone all the way through there, and then with a bit of luck you can just sort of pull on it. It breaks the seal. You've got to kind of get it before it sets too hard. There we go, and it just pulls off. So I've just got one that's, or two that have remained stuck. You do kind of have to start again with the dimensionals because some of the sticky has stayed on there, but at least the piece is off and I can do that again and hopefully get it straight this time. So I just peel away the extra foamy bits. As good as you can, because when we stick our new ones on, we don't want to collide with something already there and end up on a higher angle. Okay, dimensionals. I don't want to stick them exactly where the other ones were because I don't want, like I say, to collide with something that's already there. And because I've used smaller bits, I'm going to just add a few extras. Okay. Try that again. Looks a bit of a dog's breakfast, but once it's once all that is hidden underneath our lovely card front here, you will not know that I did that. Okay. Take 2. It looks even. What did I do before? I do not know. I thought I had it right. Okay, happy with that. Looks much better than it did. Okay, extra tip there for you. Bonus, a bonus surprise. Okay, so that's our card. So I hope you enjoyed that, and you can see a different way of doing a card front using that stamped image behind, just to add a little bit more depth, and using your DSP to cut out the leaves and flowers, and colouring in leaves on a white die cut. So it just adds extra layers and texture. And then we've got our double gatefold inside with our other flower. Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I will send out the tutorial to you, all of those on my mailing list. And you never know, there might be a survey to go with it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what I've been creating and sending out to you. So lovely, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.